All right. Good evening, everyone. We are live. It is Monday, April 1st, 2024. It's not April Fool's, though. Here on the podcast, we're actually going to do the show. We're actually going to talk about MMA, give our honest thoughts on UFC Atlantic City in the recap show, and then we'll do the preview podcast for UFC Vegas 90, the rematch between Chris Curtis and Brendan Allen. But we're going to start with UFC Vegas Atlantic City, or like I was telling you, Marcel, UFC. The referees fucking sucked. How about that? Worst referee card I've probably ever seen in UFC history. I don't even think it's hyperbole. It was fucking bad, bro.
Yeah.
It was bad. But anyways, before we get into it, how you doing, man? Glad to have you here, as always.
Yeah, man. Doing well. I mean, I wasn't very happy with the late fight night on Saturday, man.
Yeah.
I didn't watch my team on Sunday because I worked till like 9 a.m. My team started to play at 12. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna sleep 3 hours. I'm gonna watch.
You tape it or whatever, or like you're
sorry?
You'll tape the game the next day?
No, I just watched the highlights. I was like, I'm okay. For once it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean the event was kind of like, what should I say? It was just very frustrating to watch because of bad officiating, I think. But there was some fun fights, but there are also some la fights, I'd say.
I don't think the card was that good. I mean, that's my honest opinion. It just, like, on paper it was supposed to be good. It had the potential to be good, but I feel like the referees really robbed us of some good fights, especially Gary Copeland, Mini Brock Lesnar. That people are saying he's like the dwarf from Lord of the Rings. That guy must be glad that the USADA wasn't testing the refs. I mean, there's no way that guy is like natural himself. But yeah, a lot to talk about here, guys. I mean, I don't know. It was a weird card. Like I think frustrating is a really good word to use because listen, we love the fights, right? We love them, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't just UFC caliber reffing, if that makes sense. And I understand it's not the UFC's job to hire these guys in New Jersey. That's the commission in New Jersey. But, on paper, like Shaolin Ribeiro, he's an experienced guy. He's, longtime fighter. And I've seen him ref in the past. And I never thought he was like a bad ref. But on this card, Marcel was garbage. And same with Gary Copeland. I personally think, Marcel, Gary Copeland had the worst night of an official's ever had, personally. And, I know that there was that guy, Vladislav, what was his name? The guy from the Santos fight. Yeah. Whatever the guy's name was, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was bad, but he only lasted the one fight. And Dana's like, because Dana could fire them, I guess, in mid-event in Abu Dhabi. But here it's like, that can't happen, right? So I don't know, man. It was just a weird fight. And I'm looking forward to talking about some of these, fights with you. But let's get some comments first, and then we'll get into it, Marcel. So we got Joe in the chat. What's up, brother? Glenn's here. Glenn, another week, another set of officials screwing fighters' careers and finances. 100%, man. 100%. Hato, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here. Antoine, what's up, man? Glad to have you here, too. Craig, what's going on, man? JP, what's up? He says he resembles a leprechaun from the 90s horror flicks. Talking about Gary Copeland. The guy's... I didn't think he was a bad ref before. Like, really, I didn't. I mean, but this event really changed my opinion about the guy, Marcel.
I don't know. One event can change everything, right?
Same with Chris Weidman. I mean, everyone hates him now, right? So, like, there's a lot of, there's a lot of fuckery, I guess you could say, in this card. All right, let's just get into it, Marcel. We'll start with the main event, work our way down. As far as the picks go, I mean, it wasn't a great night of picks. I went 7-6. It was very mediocre. I missed on some dogs I thought were live. Some of the favorites I thought would win got crushed, including Erin Blanchfield. Marcel, this fight was, man, this is not expected from Erin. Even if she lost, I thought it'd be more competitive than this. Like, this was a clear fight, clear 50-45, really. Yeah, she just could not touch Manon. She couldn't do it, man. She couldn't get close to her. She couldn't grab her. And the one time it went to the ground in the first round, she did have that, like, guillotine. I know some people were, there's some image going around saying that she tapped, but I don't think so, man. I don't think that's what happened at all. You saw that, right? People are saying that.
Yeah, I wanted to say, I think they absolutely robbed Manon Fiorot of getting her name right for once, It bothers me so much, dude, on the broadcast that they keep calling her Fiorot. I mean,
they can't say it right.
She's a fucking main event, She's a fucking number one contender. You keep calling her Fio. It's not Fio, man.
Luque's grandchild, you know him? Lucas on Twitter. He's French. He's from France. He did a video, and I watched it. See, I'm Canadian, so when we grew up, we basically have to study French in school.
Adam Martin.
What did you say?
Adam Martin.
Martin. Yeah, I know. we basically study it. I know my last name is French, right? But like I'm part French, but it's like a very small part. I don't like associate myself necessarily. Like if you ask me, I wouldn't say I'm French, even though my last name is. But anyways, we like have to learn it. So like my pronunciation is like better than I think than a lot of people's, but it is bothersome when it's like a main event fighter. You know, if she was just like on the prelims, like you don't really know who she is. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we fuck up names all the time. It's not like we're trying. I actually do go to the UFC website, the media thing. Remember I told you about that?
Yeah.
Now I look and hear the names. Like for instance, this week that Lucas Dreschke guy. Like now we know how to say his name. It's not how it's spelled. So yeah, but with Fiorot, it does bother me a little bit. But anyways, getting back to the fight, like it was, bro. I had a friend come over. My friend came over. It's a guy I used to train MMA with. He's a really good friend of mine. And, you know, we watched all the fights. And then he's like, listen, I got to go home. And it was like really late. And he had to go back, you know, see his family, right? He's like, I'm just going to miss the main event. When I texted him 30 minutes later, I'm like, dude, you just missed a really shitty fight. You didn't miss anything. You know what I mean? Like, because he was driving. I mean, maybe we'd feel better if we won't pick Fiorot here. And we're, you know, had her by decision. Because that's definitely a possibility. But I don't think it's because we're salty for the bad pick ourselves. Just a boring fight. It was a boring fight. But honestly, I do blame Erin more so than Manon. Because Manon at least won the fight. Erin didn't do anything in this fight, dude. It was disappointing, man. And I know you're a huge fan of her. And I know she's 24, but come on. It was bad.
I feel like that Erin played in Manon's game. You know what I mean? Erin was like rushing forward. And Manon just stepped one step back and she countered her. That's all she did pretty much, but it was effective, you know. And what Erin did, wasn't effective, and she didn't adjust in between the rounds. She just kept doing the same.
Yep, exactly.
And even the only takedown in the fight was from Fiorot. You know what I mean? That's the crazy thing. And Erin had her on that
crazy.
had her on that guillotine, but she couldn't take Manon down. You know, so Manon was just physically too strong for her. Kickboxing, 2-3 levels above her. You know, and that when the ground game isn't there and she's fighting a good striker, she was screwed, man, pretty much. I mean, after the first two, I would say after the first 2 rounds, I knew that Manon was going to win the decision. You know what I mean? So, I mean, very well done by Fiorot. What can I say? And she deserves a title shot next. That's pretty obvious, I guess.
She does, even though it wasn't a great fight. She has 7 straight wins in the UFC. I mean, that's hard to do. And her win streak's way longer than that, right? She lost her debut and has the loss since. So she's impressive, man. There's no doubt. And she also, you know, she's 34, right? So she's really is in her prime. I still think Erin can get better. She can learn from this. But, like, bro, I got to be honest with you. Like, the fighter I saw against Jessica Andrade, like, that's the fighter I thought we would get in this fight. It wasn't the same fighter at all. I don't know, man. Go ahead.
The thing is, Jessica is actually also is a strawweight, right?
I know, man. When I saw the weigh-ins, man, I kind of got a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. And again, I wasn't like 100% confident in Blanchfield, right? Because I know we both like Fiorot too. Like she's a good fighter, but we have to make a pick here. And I thought that Fiorot's takedown defense wouldn't hold up. But you know what's crazy?
And the cardio.
The cardio too. You know what's crazy though? If you asked us before the fight, like, who's gonna get the only takedown in this fight, you said Fiorot would be like that. No one would believe you. You know what I mean? So. The fight just didn't play out the way I thought, man. I got to be honest. And again, no adjustments made. I thought her corner did a disservice to her. Like, I think it was after, I want to say the second round, Marcel, where you were saying, like, oh, she's done. Her corner was like, okay, you did a better round. You're doing good here now. Like, you're doing a good job. Keep doing the same thing. And I'm watching. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? You know what I mean? Like, I understand some corners, they have to, like, talk to kind of lie to their fighters to, like, encourage them. But I feel like I like the corners better that, like, a safe, like, from Fortis, where he's like, you're fucking down 2 rounds. You have to knock them out. You're going to lose. Like, I prefer that, to be honest with you.
It's much better.
Than being like, oh, yeah, you're doing a good job when you're clearly getting outpointed. It was very frustrating, man. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I agree with you. Fiorot should get a title shot, but because of this Ultimate Fighter, she's going to be delayed for a while. She's going to have to wait a year probably to get a title shot. That's the fact. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is here that it's a very dangerous thing to do because I think she deserves it. Don't get me wrong, but imagine she's saying I'm waiting, you know, for that fight to happen, and then they do, for example, Rose against Barber, and Rose wins. Imagine Rose wins. I know she got a win over Rose, but Rose active, you know, and Rose a former champion. They're gonna give it to Rose.
I'm with you. I mean, I guess the option would be to wait it out, like, and then try to be the backup and hope an injury or something happens to Valentina or Gross. But that's always possible. Like, they could get injured because like, they can't keep delaying that fight. That fight's just got to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be honest with you. I don't care about this Ultimate Fighter at all. And it's funny because I was actually talking with my friend because he's trained with that Tom Theocaris guy who's on the show. So he knows Tom. And he's like, I'm going to watch because, this guy I know that I train with is on the show. But like as far as the coaching part of it, Marcel, I don't care at all about their beef, Valentina and Grasso. You can spend a whole hour on that. Just
I don't think there's even beef, to be really
there's
honest.
not even beef. Like, what's the point? I would rather have like Sean Strickland or something. Man, Strickland would be great on Top 5.
Against other side, yeah.
Dude, that would have been great. I mean, honestly, it would have been. I mean, I guess Abby Stallion was going to fight Drakus, but even Strickland, they could have found someone, or even like Colby Covington. Like again, he's kind of like at the end of his career, but if you throw him on top, you can get a little bit more out of him. So yeah, I'm with you, Marcel, on everything you just said. Let me get some comments, guys. I apologize, I'm talking a lot here, but let's get to some fights, some comments about fights. Knox, what's up, brother? Luque through that fight lost money. We'll talk about that in a second. Well, that's in the next fight. We'll talk about it. Refs were smelling the alcohol and cigarettes. Was Keith Peterson there? Did he do fight or no?
Yeah, he had fights. Yeah.
So it was those three, right? Those three. No
Okay.
big Dan Rigliotta, which is kind of surprising to me. He usually does the AC cards. I'm sure he'll be on the pay-per-view in June. That's the thing. People are like, oh, they should never go back to New Jersey. They're going to go back in 2-3 months, guys. Going back.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus, I thought Fiorot's size and strength would be too much for Erin shoulder the fight. Tyler Santos the same advantage, but her cardio wasn't good. Yeah, that's the thing. I was kind of banking on Fiorot getting tired, and the thing was she didn't get her cardio tested because Erin couldn't get a takedown. She couldn't even. Not only that, Marcel. Here's the thing. I looked at the stats again for the Santos fight. She did go 0-14 in takedowns, but she also had like 8 minutes of control where she was pushing her against the fence. And I thought that she could do that to Manon. But again, the size was a factor, man. Manon's an actual like flyweight. Could Erin drop to 115? Like, honestly,
she's not going to do that. Her teammate Fatima Klein is at 115. She's not going to do that.
True. She just looked small in there, bro. She did.
But the thing is, like, not only that, but I didn't expect Manon Fiorot to be so strong to keep it on the feet. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, Erin will definitely get her 1 or 2 times to the ground or something. You know what I mean? But wasn't the case. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, let's get some more comments. Who'd you take in Erin versus Tally? So, I mean, Marcel's 2 girls. I mean, there's his wife and his girlfriend. I don't know. You'd have to ask Marcel.
Yeah.
Tough one. That's a tough one. I don't know, Marcel. I think, I don't know, honestly. I picked Manon, the expected to show up Erin's takedown. Same. Papa Chuck, yo guys, great to see you guys. See you too. IQ'd needs to be adopted MMA fighting term. He's talking about like the DQ for the eye pokes. Yeah, that was bad. We'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah, Manon did well. They had to screw Manon's Fiorot's name after the whole Blanchfield. Oh yeah, Blanchfield thing. I think were you the guy who tweeted it first? Because they did fix it. Was it you that caught it, or did someone send that to you?
Oh, like I saw. I was watching the media day interview.
Yeah,
and I look, I see Blanchfield. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
no, I was just watching it.
That's funny. Fiorot's a bad match with Grasso. Yeah, well, it'd be interesting to see that fight. Blake, Pure shitting his card way too hard. 8 knockouts, 5 decisions. Listen,
it's not shitting on the card more than the officiating.
Yeah, the officiating it kind of ruined the card for me, Blake. I mean, that's the thing, Blake. I actually tweeted the same thing. I was like, it's crazy to say this card all these knockouts, and it like these fights didn't go 15 minutes. They weren't just like some guy holding a dude against the fence for 15 minutes. It wasn't like that, but it still was a fucking weird card, and I didn't think it was a great card. I mean, on paper, it should have been a better card. Erin never had much of a shot winning stand with 0 takedowns in the stands for itself. Again, I agree with you, but I thought that she could still push her against the fence. She couldn't do it. So that's exactly what Pato's saying here. Exactly, Pato. That's what I thought would happen is she couldn't do it. She couldn't get close to her. Someone said it looked like Gone is fighting against Polar Bear. Someone had said it looked like a big sister versus a little sister. Like she's holding her toy and you couldn't get it from her. So
it kind of looked like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad. Tristan, what's up, brother? Yeah, no, for sure. What's up, hype? What's going on, man? Are they trying to kill the show? What are they doing? Tough. You talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need it. Actually, remember it went away for a few years and they brought it back. It was gone. We were all like, oh, it's over.
Completely new format.
David's like, it's not dead. It's coming back. Dana was so fucking excited when they brought it back. It's not bad word. I think Manon will get Grasso. Shevchenko's done. Yeah. Shevchenko is getting up there in age for sure. What's up, Zach? 0 interest in the coaches. Yeah, for sure. Do you guys think it's time for Blanchfield Barber? They could. It's very possible. But again, I just think Manon really deserves. I don't think she should have to fight anyone else. I think she's earned it. I mean, she's 7-0 in UFC. Sure. Yeah, she's earned it. Disagrees, no chance to give a Rose title shot. Rose, but that's the thing. Rose could be like Dustin Poirier, where it looked
right time, right moment.
Are you hearing it? Is it? I know Dustin tweeted. Is that an April Fool's or is that legit? That he's...
The thing is that I don't know if it's April Fool's or that it's done or whatever, but I'm definitely they want to do that fight, because they want to have Islam fighting in June and there's nobody else available because they are all booked, So
I think it's going to happen, guys. Even though it's not fair, the prelims were really good, Blake. I agree. Prelims were better than the main card. Hey, what's up, Sign Collectibles? Glad to have you here, man. Who do you think Manon? How do you think Manon matches up with Val Grasso? I think she does. I think she matches up pretty well with them, to be honest. I don't know. I have to think about those fights more. I think the Grasso fight would be tougher, I would think. I think she beats Valentina, though. I got to be honest, man. I think she beats Valentina. Valentina's getting up there in age, and I know Manon's only a little bit younger, but, like, she hasn't really had those wars like Valentina had. Like that fight with Valentina and Tyler Santos, right? That's the thing, Marcel. Like, I have so much, like, I don't know if respect's the right word, but I appreciate Tyler Santos. I think she's a really good fighter. I thought she beat Valentina in that fight. So when Erin beat her, I was like, okay, Erin's really good. You know what I mean? Same with Andrade. I have so much appreciation. But again, Manon is a good fighter too, man. And I think she proved that. Based on what you said, I think Manon's going to sit out. Probably will. Bilal Edwards, June. I don't think it's June. What is it, July?
I think July. The thing is, like, many people are asking me, is this fight booked between them? I'm not sure, I'm not sure. But the thing is, Bilal has been talking about wanting to have a title shot against Leon for months, for weeks. Yeah. And we haven't heard for like 2 or 3 weeks about it. So I think it's booked, I think they just have to announce it still. That's what I think, but I'm not sure.
For sure. Why don't they book Islam Gamrot? Well, Dustin deserves it more than Gamrot. I mean, Gamrot's last fight with RD8 was not a great performance. I mean, I think a lot of us would and we're all fans of Gamrot, but it wasn't good. Not enough for title shot. A lot of people thought Valentina beat Grasso Pro. I personally don't think she's done. I don't think she's done, but I think Manon could beat her. That's what I think. I think the line would be close for that fight.
I hate it so much, man, that went to a draw,
Yeah.
Man, I mean, even if it was just like score, like the fourth round, was pretty much the deciding round for me. So Shevchenko could have won or Grasso could have won, and then we would have been done, man, with that fight. Now we have to wait again.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, let's go back to the card. Joaquin Buckley gets an upset win here over Vicente Luque. Just smashes.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, I didn't think the fight would play out like this, but again, Luque looked really scared of getting hit, man. And the way he pulled guard and the way he just shelled up and basically, people were saying he quit. I don't know, man. Those are some pretty hard shots. They were hard ground and pound, but
Adam,
Marcel, what the fuck was he doing pulling guard? That was so stupid.
I think honestly that the first round was pretty competitive, I felt, and after the second round, I think Joaquin Buckley almost landed that flying knee flush, but he didn't land the flush. And then I had the feeling that Luque was kind of, maybe it's not true, but that's my feeling, when I look back at it. Maybe he was kind of afraid to get hit, Remember, he came back after that brain bleed against Neil, and he fought RDA, but the RDA fight was a lot on the ground, right? It was a lot of jiu-jitsu. And this fight, he knew Buckley couldn't touch him like that. So I felt like that he was kind of afraid to get hit. I don't know for sure. It's just my opinion, what I thought. Because he still could do the butterfly guard, I felt like, or he could push him away with his feet. But he wasn't busy with that. He was just making sure he didn't get hit in the head, I felt. Yeah. So, man, I hope, listen, man, the old Luque, this was not the old Luque we know, So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't good. I'm just looking at the scorecards. I actually haven't seen them yet. Sal Diamato scored the first round for Luque. And Colon and Trolley had it for Buckley. I think I had it for Buckley. It was competitive, but I just looked at the stats. It was 15-15, so very close. But the second round was it was brutality. I mean, I thought Buckley looked good, man. I mean, there's no doubt. I actually thought he'd get a bonus. Were you surprised he didn't get a bonus?
Yeah, maybe, but I was, because it was, the thing was, the finish wasn't as impressive as the other guys. You know what I mean? I think that's a problem. But it was impressive that he won against Luque in the second round.
I just think beating Luque by finishing him is big, personally. But, I guess he's damaged goods now after that Jeff Neal fight. Like I told you, I had to see this fight to see what I thought.
Yeah, you were on the fence last week. You were on the fence. I was very much on the fence. I wasn't. But
very much on the fence. Bro, I got to be honest with you. Like, I probably won't be picking him anymore. If he fights strikers with decent takedown defense, I can't do it, And Buckley's an athletic dude, man. He's got good takedown. He's got good wrestling. Actually, a fight with Alex Barono, I mean, that was a good win for him, right? Now he's got another win over Luque. He's on a 3-fight win streak at welterweight, Marcel.
Yeah. I give him Sean Brady.
I was going to ask you, yeah? Okay, so let me ask you this then. He wants to fight as the main event in St. Louis.
I'll make that for Sean Brady as the main event. Yeah, but I know they made Derek Lewis already against Rodrigo Nascimento.
Bro, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, is it April Fool's already? Is it April Fool's? That's just not a main event. That's a terrible fucking main event. It really is a bad main event.
I just had closed out the computer because in 4 hours the UFC was going to start, right? So it's like I'm going to lay a little bit. So I scroll. Here's your St. Louis main event, and I see already Derek Lewis. I was like, no, please let it be Rosenstruik if it's Rulo. And I see Nascimento. I was like, guys, come on. I mean, I don't mind.
Rosenstruik made sense, but
I don't mind that fight, but not as a main event, you know?
Oh boy, yeah, it was. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. It's not a good main event. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Okay, this is one we're gonna have to spend a few minutes on. Chris Weidman defeats Bruno Silva via unanimous technical.
Guys, Adam doesn't want to talk about this. Let's go. I'm just kidding.
No, we'll talk about it. So first off, I mean, the fight did not play out how I thought. I thought Bruno Silva would knock out Weidman. Yeah, there was one moment, I think it was at the end of the second round, where like they started swinging bombs, and then like Bruno Silva like screamed and they grabbed Weidman's neck. It was pretty sick. I'm like, holy shit, these guys are like going to war here. Okay, but there's a lot to talk about from this fight. So first off, again, I thought Weidman looked good. That's the thing. He actually looked really good, right? But there's just too much controversy about this one, man. It really is. And he came off as such a douchebag in his interview. He really did. He poked him in the eye 4 times in the fight. I think it was once in the first round, once in the second. I see your fucking handle now. I poke, you poke. First round, second round, and then third round, double eye poke. Bruno Silva goes right down. Referee doesn't see it. Calls the fight as a TKO, and then a minute later they change it to a decision. And then Weidman takes the mic and says, "Well, you're not supposed to like do that. Even if you get fouled, you're not supposed to like fall down." It made him look like such a douchebag, honestly. Like he's just not coming across as like the guy that I kind of respected for so long. I still respect him as a fighter, and I had I put the tweet out today, and man, I had a lot of. It was just interesting because like for me, Marcel, I don't know what you think. To me, he's like an automatic Hall of Famer, and I'm like, I was surprised when people said he wasn't. Like, what do you think? Am I wrong here, or what do you think?
I think those people are idiots who say that he's not.
There you go.
The problem is like maybe they don't like Weidman, but it's not about it. He beat Silva twice. He beat Luque. He beat Leo Tomachida. He beat Vitor Belfort. He got some good wins, man, and he beat the GOAT pretty much for many people twice. Yeah. I don't say that automatically gets you in the Hall of Fame, but he had a good run, and you see until he fought Rockhold and it went downhill. Yeah. So, guys, Cerrone is in the Hall of Fame.
I'm a numbers guy, Marcel. I went and looked at the stats today. So he has 3 title defenses at middleweight, which is third most in the division behind Adesanya and Silva. Okay, so that alone is good. But not only that, I looked through all the divisions. The only fighter with more title defenses that's retired right now, and again, Weidman's not retired. I'm just saying when he retires, he'll get in. He's not going to get in as an active fighter. But the only fighter that's retired that isn't in the Hall of Fame with more than 3 title defenses, do you know who it is? That's the only. And Dana White hates him, right? So that's the reason he's on in. He's obviously one of the best fighters of all time, Frank Shamrock. Again, new fans will be like, "Who is this guy?" But you remember the guy from like when he fought Tito Ortiz in that crazy fight like 25 years ago or whatever. Like, man, he was a good fighter. Frank Shamrock, maybe not the person is not a great guy, but again, I'm with you, by the way. I saw your tweet about Cedricus Dumas, or we were talking about it maybe, how, you try to put that to aside from his personal life.
No, I said it in the Discord, but you can say it too.
That's what it was. Yeah. So basically, like there was that, we'll talk about that in a second actually with Dumas, but there was that whole mugshot thing going around. We're like, well, he's not a nice guy, but as a fighter, that's what we're looking at here. So anyways, with Weidman, I mean, honestly, Marcel, I feel like it wasn't handled well by the ref. And I feel like Marcel, that to be honest with you, dude, he had his fingers like the entire time they were like this. It was like, when John Jones fought like Glover Teixeira, I want to say he was doing it the whole time. So there's a rule now where you can't do that. And the referee just kept saying stop. He didn't even really warn him that much about that. He warned him not to actually poke him in the eye. But just the fact his hand was out like this is like, it's just danger. Like you're just like standing like this. The guy's, how's he going to get in if you're just like, so for me, it's like, honestly, man, I think he should have been disqualified. I got to be honest with you. I think he should have been disqualified because it was such 2 brutal eye pokes and it led to the finish. And it was like the 4th time. And he had been warned. I don't think it was a point taken away at that point. But there was another fight at the point taken away, which we'll talk about. But well, for me, it was a great performance, marred in too much controversy. And now people hate this guy. And to be honest with you, it's like the guy was acting like a complete dick. You know what I mean? He could have said, guys, I'm sorry. Like it was an accident. We can run it back. That's what usually they say, even if he didn't want to run it back, he could just say it. But it says like, hey man, you shouldn't have fell down after I poked you in the eye. It's like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know. What do you think, man? Let me talk. You could talk though. Go ahead.
I mean, and maybe this is not true, but that's my feeling. I said to a friend of mine, if this is the other way around, Silva gets DQ'd in Atlantic
100%.
City, you know? And the thing is, what really bothered me was that Copeland said, yeah, but you also poked him in the eye. You also poked him in the eye. It was like, dude, what does it matter? You know, you have to stop the fight. You cannot say, oh, he poked him, so we good. You know? Fucking idiot. But listen, man, if you could give him no contest, a DQ, I think should have been a DQ after 4 falls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the thing is, man, I have nothing against Chris Weidman, but it's not the first time he tries to pull a trick, you know? I remember against Gegard Mousasi in New York, where he was like, he thought he was a down opponent, and he got kneed in the head, and then he did like, I cannot continue. So they went to the review, actually, you know, and they say like, we're legal strikes. And so it was a TKO win for Mousasi then, and then he was pissed. So he was like, what the hell is happening here? So he could continue, but he wanted to get a quickie there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's not the first time. And I don't dislike Weidman. I don't dislike him at all. But it's just like, why, dude? You know, yeah, I understand why he first win since 2020, but you don't want to win like this. You know, people remember this kind of shit. You know what I mean? And I know Bruno's team will appeal the loss. And also Dumas' team is appealing the loss. So
they're both appealing? I mean, yeah. I don't really see them winning their appeals.
No, me neither. But it's good that they're doing it, I think.
At least they're bringing some awareness to it. But yeah, I'm just looking at some comments. I mean, there's some really good comments in here. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot, guys. But I pretty much agree with what Tristan's saying. He's just saying, like, Weidman, you know, basically made some really stupid comments. I also agree with Antoine. I would think behind Izzy and Silva's the third best, you know, but a lot of people will say like Bisping or like Henderson.
Franklin.
I saw some people. Who?
Rich Franklin,
Ace. I mean, there's a few guys, right? Some people were saying, well, someone said to me today, well, he's behind Mousasi, Romero, and Jacare and Rockhold because they knocked him out. And I'm like, okay, but look at the overall resume, though. I think, you know, in the UFC, I think Weidman's wins are better, right?
Yeah, I mean, you cannot say Dennis Holman is better than Matt Hughes. You know what I mean? Because he beat him twice. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Thank you. This is hilarious, by the way. Gary Copeland is the kind of guy to make up for his height insecurities by doubling his width. That's funny. He's a short dude. I mean, listen, he's got to compensate for it somehow, I guess. Like I said, I've never really thought he was like a bad ref. I'm like, oh, Gary Copeland's reffing. Like, he's okay. But he just had a bad card. He had a really bad card. My only hope is, Marcel, that they're actually like talking to him in the behind the scenes and saying, hey, man, like, you fucked this fight up. You shouldn't have stopped so early. I don't know. What are you saying?
You know how my colleague calls Gary Copeland?
What?
Pocket Brock.
Pocket bro?
Brock.
Pocket Brock?
Pocket Brock.
I call him fucking Gimli, dude. He looks like Gimli from...
from Lord of the Rings. I just say Mini Brock all the time.
Yeah, no, he's like Brock for sure. Weidman, who should he fight? That's a good question. Ooh.
Rematch.
Someone had said, where's the comment? I saw Bo Nickel was a shout, and I think it's a good shout, to be honest with you. Weidman against Bo Nickel. I don't mind it. What do you think?
Weidman against Bo Nickel, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's Weidman of CT. I mean, he's been knocked out a lot. He's been taking a lot of head trauma. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I mean, but you never know. I mean, like, I think in like 20 years, dude, a lot of these guys are going to come out and, you know, after they pass away and stuff. Maybe not 20 years, but like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, all these guys, like, even our legends. Like, I hate to say it, but like, we're all human. We're all going to die one day. So, like, you know, when they pass away, like a Chuck Liddell, for instance, or Diego Sanchez, when they actually like get to look at their brains after they pass away, you're going to see that they have brain trauma. It's sad, man. It's really sad. You know, that's the risk you take with the sport, though.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's no accountability at all. Maybe Brock Lesnar is funny. Anyways, Weidman. Ooh, I like the Bo Nickel one, but I don't know if he'd take it. I don't mind a rematch, but I don't think they'll do it. You know, because he actually was winning the fight, to be honest. It's not like he was losing the fight and then, you know, one was an eye poke. Geez, I don't know. I mean, there's some interesting fights though out there. How about like a Adolfo Vieira would be kind of interesting, I think.
Maybe Gregory Rodriguez.
Sure. Oh, RoboCop was there actually. I saw him. I'm like, hey, it's RoboCop.
And he can avenge the win for the Brazilian.
That's true. All right, go to the next fight here. We had Nursultan Ruzabayev knocks out Cedricus Dumas. again, eye poke leading to an uppercut. He was looking good too, but a clear eye poke, and the guy went down, and he's saying, "Hey, I got poked in the eye," and the referee just didn't do anything, and then he finished him. That's the problem too, Marcel, is that I thought he looked good, and I thought he could have got a bonus, but the referee kind of fucked him out of a bonus in a way because you can't give a bonus for that, But I thought he looked good. I don't know. What do you think, man?
He did look good, man. And the thing is, like, but the KO, the eye poke led to the KO. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the thing with Dumas is. Many people hate on him because of the online things, but you gotta listen, man. If you judge a fight, you have to see that separate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
as hard as it is, And gotta say, man, I sometimes I talk to Dumas sometimes in my DM, and he's always nice to me. So I only have good how do you say that? Good experience with him, but I don't know him personal, of course. But yeah, I mean, he also told me they're gonna appeal it, but yeah, it's like. The thing is, Ruziboyev looked really good in the fight, in my opinion, but you cannot give a win here by knockout because you clearly. I think it was a scratch or a poke. I don't know. Looked like a scratch, but still, if you scratch someone over the eyeball, dude, that fucking sucks. I had it myself, so yeah. You
know what? I got to be honest. Like, I feel like he would have a more better chance of getting a no contest because the fight was in the first round. With Weidman, it was third round, right? So they're going to go to the scorecards unless they call it a DQ. Because they'll go to the scorecards. Remember, Michael Bisping fought Alan Belcher in New Jersey like 10 years ago. Yeah. And he did the same thing and went to a decision. But they didn't call the knockout first. I don't know. I think that Dumas would have a slightly better chance, but I don't think he'll get it either. I think he's going to stay as a winner for Ruziboyev. I really like Ruziboyev, though. Man, he's looked good in the UFC. I mean, he's looked good, right? You like this guy?
He looked really good, He was kind of, when he came to the UFC, he had a good record. He still has a good record, don't get me wrong. But there were really unknown fighters on his record. And when you watch the tape, was some really weird things happening sometimes, But he looked good so far, man. He knocked out Bruno Ferreira and he stopped Dumas. I'd like to see if he challenged Jared Mershot, I think.
Love it.
Yeah, why not? And I think he trains with Joe Pfeiffer before and with Andre Petroski. So, I mean, these guys know Mershart, And
it makes sense. And I was looking at it so Mershart has the most middleweight fights. He's got I think it was 53 fights, and then
most submissions,
45 or something. Yeah, but I'm just saying overall fights. They have the most 2 fights. But again, it's crazy with Nursultan because it's man, when he came to UFC, I'm looking at his resume. I'm I don't recognize any of these guys he's fought, right? So I wasn't sure if he'd get fraud checked quickly. But dude, he's looked good. I mean, again, he hasn't really been tested, but it's hard to get tested when you're knocking guys out in the first round, although this one was pretty controversial. I did notice that blood too. That wasn't very good. People were just saying that their opinions on Dumas. Tristan loves him. Gwen hates him.
So, I think Dumas was, by the way, bleeding out of his nose, what I saw, but maybe I'm wrong. Could be out of his eye as well, but could be wrong.
He definitely got eye poked. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Kyle Nelson finishes Bill Algeo. Another upset win, third straight upset win for Kyle Nelson, the monster. I mean, listen, he's Canadian. Fucking dude, we have nobody to root for these days, so of course I'm happy. But I thought this was an early stoppage, man. I thought it was a really early stoppage. He didn't actually drop the guy. His legs were wobbled, and I know, some people including Zach. I don't know if Zach, you're still in the chat, and I really respect your opinion. It's for fighter safety, but at the same time, what's the point of even fighting then if it's just they're trying to be extra safe? To me, yeah, he was hurt, but we've seen guys come back from worse. And Bill Algeo was known for his toughness. If he didn't get finished there, he could have maybe came back late, with better cardio, right? So I feel like he kind of got robbed of the chance to come back and win. Now he definitely got clipped. Nelson did look good. He was laying some big shots. And I know they're cool about it. There was they posted that video in the elevator, and Algeo was cool with Nelson. There's no issue there. But I personally thought it was an early stoppage. What do you think?
So when I saw it initially, I was like, yeah, it's okay. But then I watched the replay and I was like, they could have gone a little bit more, What the hell is up with Kyle Nelson as of lately, dude? I mean, is that his twin brother Niall Nelson or something? I mean,
it's the beard and it's the dad strength. He's just
I think it is. So. I think it is. But I think he's a super nice guy as well. So I'm happy for him. But the thing is, the referee should have let this continue a little bit more. Although Kyle Nelson was looking really good in my opinion. He wobbled him early on, and then he got the finish. Yeah, the finish. He won. And there's it's a very, very good win for him, man.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he had a great year last year, and he started the year great as well. So yeah, good for him. I'm happy for you Canadian guys. You have somebody to root for right now.
Because the truth is, man, he started his career in the UFC. Was it 1-4? I want to say.
Yeah, he was on the first to get cut.
1-4 and 1 draw.
I think he would have got cut if he lost to the Doo Choi, but he got lucky. I think that Doo Choi got a point deducted.
And they kept him around. They're like, all right, we'll give you another one. Then he goes and upsets Builder, upsets Padilla, upsets Algio.
Yeah.
He's looked good. I mean, is it enough to get a ranked guy? Could he get a ranked guy after this win streak?
I feel like it's maybe a little bit too early because 145 is so is so deep. Yeah, I think this is maybe a little bit too early. But man, he's on his way. What can you say? He's really turning the tables here. So yeah.
I'm just looking at the rankings again. He could fight maybe the winner of like Alexander Hernandez and Damon Jackson. That like this weekend, that could be a fight. Andre Feely, someone like that. Someone that's not ranked, but also like a respectable name, I guess. Hakeem Dawodu would be interesting, although I don't think they would do two Canadians against each other. I doubt that.
At least if one guy was winning.
Yeah, true. But no, there's some good fights for him. Julian Rosa would be a fun fight. I don't think they fought before, have they? I don't think they fought.
No,
that'd be fun, right? So. That'd be a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
Anyways, he deserves a decent name. Even like Charles Jourdain, he's Canadian, but I mean, it'd be a fun fight, so.
Oh, wait, what the DXJC56 says, he called out Nate Landwehr. Why not?
Oh, yeah, he did call Nate Landwehr. Yeah, that's right. Sure. I mean, that would be good too, right? I got to be honest, when they did the bout order and this was on the main card and that fight was on the prelims, I was like, why is Nate Landwehr on the prelims? But they like Kyle Nelson. They see something in him, and he's definitely turned it around, man. I got to be honest, Marcel, I wasn't sure what to think about this guy because like the last couple fights he won, but it wasn't like super impressive. But the UFC, then they put him on the main card, and it's like, okay, maybe the matchmaker saw something we didn't, and they clearly did. He clearly has improved.
I think it was on the main card because Bill Algeo, to be really honest. But
that's true, because he's from King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Yeah. A crazy name for a town.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. If you come somewhere, where are you from? King of Prussia.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I was gonna say though, the guy I was watching the card with my friend, right? Like again, he does an amateur Muay Thai and stuff. He was telling me that he had an amateur Muay Thai fight, like maybe it was a couple years ago, and he's like, he looked up and Kyle Nelson was on the other guy's corner because he was cornered by Kruel Lin and Kyle Nelson from House of Champions. So because again, that's like an hour from where I am, right in Hamilton. It's not far. So it's cool. It's cool to see a guy that it's so weird, man. I'm telling you. By the way, that's the same guy that met Sean Strickland and Chris Curry, as I was talking about last week. So it's just crazy. Like, it's such a small world. You know what I mean? This MMA community. It's a small community. All right, a couple comments. I mean, it's funny to say fire saving to watch people punch on their face. Exactly, Zach. Exactly. Octagon updates. What's up, man? Oh yeah, this is a good example too. Suma Darji versus Matt Chanel. I mean, they could have easily stopped that fight. You know what I mean? I'm completely with Glenn too. I agree with Glenn. When they're against the fence and the guy like Adesanya versus Pereira is a great example of that. Like that, I know some people said that was early. I don't think it was. I think that fight, like, it's maybe a slight smidge early, but there's other. Anyways, the point is, you can't move, right? He was in the middle of the octagon. He could have pulled guard. He could have, went for a takedown. He could have been dropped and rolled back. I don't know. I just think the ref stopped it early. Personally.
I always think about the Dave Monet, Phil Baroni one, man.
Yeah, that's another one too. I mean that he was definitely on steroids for that fight. I'll just tell you that. Bill Gates will have a chance of a comeback win. Kyle, that's the thing. I feel like Kyle got robbed of potentially getting $50K here, Marcel, because I think he could have got a crazy knockout.
Yeah,
the refs fucked him. So, yeah, it's true, Zach. Ref could wait for. He didn't. There was no knockdown at all. That's the thing. He didn't knock him down once. He did rock him, but he didn't actually drop him. I looked at the stats. Ice biking. I felt lucky cashing Nelson at plus 1,000. I mean, that's a good ticket though, man. Like, it was a great bet. To be honest with you, it was a really, really fucking good bet. King of Prussia is basically known for the giant ball. Like I said, like that's a crazy name for a town. And we're called up by special. I did see that too. Yeah. So, all right, next fight. Go back. Oh, the main card opener. I mean, there was some fuckery here. We're waiting, and I'm like, no way, this is gonna be a split decision. You're waiting like 10 minutes for the scorecards. Chidi wins by split decision. I mean, so the ref, or the judge that scored it for him, I'm like, who is Muna Muna Carrido? But apparently that's Muna Holland, who's fighting like Invicta, and she completely changed her name. I'm like, who is this? Like, the name is completely different.
I think her real name is Maimuna, and she always fought with Muna. And I think the last name is now her man's name. I think, and it's not
that makes sense. With the whole thing, I'm like, who is this judge? I was like, what the fuck? And I looked and I'm like, oh, they've judged a lot. Then I realized it was her, right? So I think it was a horrible scorecard, though. There's just no way you can give that fight to McKee. What do you think?
I was like, why the fuck does it take so long, man? It was pretty easy to score that fight, So
how did you score it, actually? Did you give the first round to McKee or no?
I was like, it's a toss-up. I just gave 2 and 3 to Njokuani. The
thing is
clear. By the way, I had a good pick, man, last week. I had Njokuani by decision.
Dude, that was a crazy pick. I thought you were nuts. I'm like, I remember last year, I'm like, really? And you're like, yeah. So you know what? That's just proof you guys stick to your guns sometimes. But yeah, just looking at the stats, Njokuani outstruck him in all 3 rounds. The first round I thought was close though, but the second and third were clear. So especially when you heard 30-27, you get 2 30-27s and then 1 29-28 the other side. That's just fucking terrible. That's just so bad. And again, are they even going to say anything to this judge? They're going to be like, hey, you got to, score the fights better. They probably don't even give a shit. At least they got the winner right. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because I did see there was a tweet. I can't remember who made this tweet, but it was a little while ago, talking about judging and how it'd be nice to get 5 judges, right? And it would be, but even with three, you do have a fail safe built in because it's not just one guy. It's 3 or girl, So if 2 of the 3 agree, then it's like okay, thank God, because you never know though, man. You might have 2 idiots out of the 3 that you just randomly took 2 idiots. So that's why I like the 5 better, but they'll never pay the extra money for that. I saw Clint's tweet. You know what? Like we've seen worse scorecards, to be honest with you, like by these judges. So like I didn't agree with Clint, but I thought maybe 3-1. I thought. Did you think Erin won any round? Did you give her?
No, maybe the 4th, but
I think it was the 4th that I thought maybe she'll win this round. Like
the problem here is,
I got a pity.
and I listen, and I like Clint a lot, but the problem here is that Clint picked probably Blanchfield, and then. So every small thing some cappers can take, they will favor the fighter they picked, and that's why there's always so many BS on Twitter and on the socials. You got to be honest, man, with your scorecards. There, in my opinion, 3-1 is possible, 4-0 should be, but 2-2 is awful.
I mean, I'm with you. All right. Let's go to the next fight. It was back now we're on the prelims. Yeah, Nate Lambert knocks out Jamal Emmers. So yeah, I mean Nate's looked great. I mean, other than the Dan Ige fight in the last fight, he's really looked like a great fighter the last couple of years, man. He's exciting. He's got 4 bonuses now. He's a new dad too. Huge win for him, man. Fucking huge. Again, I don't mind that Kyle Nelson fight, but I also feel like Nate could get a top 15 guy again. I mean, I know he did lose to Ige, but man, this guy puts on good fights. Like you're guaranteed a banger with this dude, man. I really like this guy. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, he's fun to watch, and I thought that he was over-mentioned the first 3 minutes, because
he was.
Emmers looked like a world beater, and then out of nowhere, Nate got Nate. Nate went landwehr on Emmers, and he won. He looked a good comeback win for him. The thing is, like Nate Landwehr, I don't know, dude. I like him a lot. He's fun to watch. He's fun on the mic. But I'm not sure, I still think if he gets a level up, and we saw it in the Dan Ige fight, that he's not going to make it. You know what I mean? And I still think the Ludovic Klein win is still the best win he has, in my opinion.
It's a good win.
Yeah. But really I don't see him making that top 15 thing. Yeah. Maybe if they match him up with somebody who is like stylistically match up good with him, then he can make that jump to the top 15. But I don't see him getting into the top 10, to be really honest. But he's an entertaining fighter, definitely.
He's got a good personality. He had a really good post-fight interview. Looking at the rankings, I mean, he could beat Alex Caceres. That's 15. He could beat him.
Yeah, but pretty much, listen, Alex Caceres is the kind of guy who can pretty much win against anybody in the top 15, top 25, but also can lose against anybody in top 15, top 25.
I got to tell you, man, Alex Caceres being ranked out this many years after his debut is really impressive. I mean, he's a true veteran, dude. Good for him, man.
I remember when I was back at MMA DNA in 2020 or 2021, I always made the profiles on the websites for the top 15 guys. And when Alex Caceres came in the top 15, I was like, I'm not going to make that profile right now because he will be out in 2 weeks probably.
He's still here.
He's still there.
I agree. Anyways, just I think that Nate, he could beat him. I think he could beat Yusuf as well. And I mean, maybe Barboza. I mean, that's a tough fight too.
I'd favor Sodiq against him, to be honest.
Probably too. I think the only guy that, if on the odds, he'd be favored against is probably Caceres.
By the way, Tristan is right. Caceres
not even. I didn't see a comment. Sorry, Tristan. I was looking at this fight.
Yeah, he's booked against
Woodson. Yeah, he's fighting him. I'm just saying that's the only guy he could beat. I know he's fighting Woodson. Maybe if he beats Woodson. Although, to be honest, I mean, Woodson deserves a shot. You know what's crazy? There was that guy that got cut after he had that draw with Woodson, but he should have knocked him out. And he jumped on top of the fence. What's that guy's name? Luis Saldana? That's his name?
Oh, yeah.
He got cut, but dude, he beat Woodson, and then the fight wasn't actually stopped or something. Like, remember that? Yeah. Crazy. Now he's not in the UFC anymore. It's really fucking crazy. I completely agree with this too. If Murphy pulls out, he should step in and fight Barboza. That'd be a fucking war. It'd be a good fucking war. If Bruce Lee wins, it's a war. I think any of those fights make sense. I don't mind the Kyle Nelson fight. I think it'd be a fun fight, but I think they both kind of deserve, got rank guys, especially though Nate, because I know he wasn't up much on the card. But again, Marcel, the way he's beating these guys, like knocks out Emmers, submits Lingo. He has that crazy war with Onamba where he comes back from the dead. I mean, that was an insane fight too. And the fight over Nate Ludovic Klein is aging really well, dude. It's aging really well. It's crazy though, because he gets knocked by Herbert Burns, who like we know now is kind of not that good, and then he gets destroyed by him, and I'm like, okay. I thought he lost to Darren Elkins. I got to be honest with you, man. I really did. You remember that fight with Darren Elkins? Like Darren's face was bleeding, and so that's where the judges probably went with him.
I still think Elkins won. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. So, anyways, let's go back to the card. Dude, I didn't see this coming either. Verna Jandiroba defeats Lupe Cadenas by decision. Verna looked good in this fight. Verna's a fighter that, I mean, clearly I underrated coming into this one. I thought this would be a good matchup for Lupe, dude, and it turned out not to be at all. She didn't look good at all. The judges had it 30-27 and 29-28 times two. I had it 2-1 as well for Jandiroba.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Lupe gets these steps up in competition, just can't take that next step. Like when she fought Angela Hill, and now this fight. I don't know, man. And her fight IQ is really questionable too in her fights. I'm not sure what to think about her anymore. What do you think, dude?
Keith Shannon pretty much said it in the Fiorot podcast. He's like, listen, man, Lupe, physically and also talented, she has it pretty much, but she makes these weird decisions sometimes in fights, and it costs her fights, and it costs her also this fight. I think Jandiroba did really well what she did, and she deserved to win. And to be honest, listen, I like Lupe a lot, but I'm also happy for Verna. Verna's always very underrated. She only lost to 3 people in the UFC. She lost to Carla Esparza, to Mackenzie Dern, and to what's her name again? The other grappler. What's her name again?
Hivas.
Yeah, Amanda Hibas. Yeah, my God. She lost to these 3. It's not that bad, No. I would match her against Amanda Lemos next.
They haven't fought yet. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, Lupe though. I mean, I think this was I think personally, man, this is where the matchmakers I think fall off the bandwagon too. I think they're like, all right, we've given you a couple chances now. It's you're a good fighter, but not good enough for the top 10.
I still think she leveled up at Lobo, I still think she did. But, I mean, I don't know how much of a jump she can still make, so we'll see.
Oh, I was just disappointed. Lupe's good at fights like a dumbass. I mean, her fight IQ is definitely questionable. It really is. Bronze there with Lupe the 20. Did he say that? I like Erin a lot. I mean, I didn't see that scorecard. I don't agree with it at all. I mean, I'm sure he got shit on in the comments. Yeah, I mean, Erin's a good dude. Like, I've hung out with him so many times, and like, it's crazy because, like, back in the day. So I remember me and him. We watched TJ Dillashaw versus what's that guy's name? One Day Notice. What's the guy's name?
Oh, Joe Soto.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say Pornhub because you were all smiling before you would say we were going to watch.
I was just saying because like that is a horrible main event. But
yeah,
the co-main event was Danny Castillo versus Tony Ferguson.
Yeah,
and Danny had top control the whole time. Tony was going for subs and doing damage, and we were like, oh, Tony won that fight, and he did. And then, now that they've actually kind of like made that more of something that they talk about now with these judging courses, like, hey, like, you're supposed to score these guys to the bottom. Like, I always remember that fight where me and Erin were on the same page, and this was 10 years ago. But now I feel like, maybe it's not just Erin either. It's just a lot of guys on Twitter are just like, they're overcompensating kind of for like the damage over like these positions on the ground. I mean, I still think that advancing positions, getting dominant positions, stuff matters still, dude. You know what I mean? It's still MMA.
It's not fucking kickboxing,
Exactly. So, anyways, yeah, Aaron's a good dude, though, man. Trust me.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
don't agree with that scorecard. Just like I didn't agree with John's last week with He-Boss, 30-27. I think he was trolling. I think John was trolling.
I mean,
but
even us too, we don't agree about.
I'm sure there's some scorecards we've had that we want back. I mean, there's definitely some ones, right? So, yeah. Anyways, getting back to the cards, let's finish up these prelims. Julio Arce knocks out Herbert Burns. Herbert Burns is getting cut, right? There's no way he gets another fight, right?
I mean, he's Gilbert's brother, so I don't know, but I would say not probably.
Bro, 3 straight knockout losses, and he doesn't really put up a fight. Now, I will say this. By the way, I didn't ask you. Landwehr Emmers. You okay with that stoppage? You good with that one? Landwehr Emmers?
Yeah.
Okay, how about this fight?
Yeah.
Okay.
You weren't?
I thought it was a tad early.
Man, I mean, let's be honest. If he continues 10 seconds longer, he would be stopped as well, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think it would change the fight. That's why I'm not upset at all, and I don't even care. I just want to hear your thoughts. This is not a hill I'm willing to die on, but unlike the Algio and Nelson fight, where I really feel like the fight could have been different if they let it continue. I really think so.
You said Emmers Landwehr, man. You didn't say
that one. No, I'm talking about. I know. I'm saying that one is one because there's 3. To me, there was a lot of people were talking about these 2 fights being stopped a little quick. I don't think they were as egregious as the Nelson Algio fight.
Let's be honest, it pretty much went how we said it, But we tried to get the fight to the ground. But Arce is not easy to take down, I said last week, Shane Burgos always tells me, you can't take the guy down, and when you're able to get him down, try to keep him down. It's hard. And
he came in this fight with 95% takedown defense, and now it's 96 now because he stopped 6 takedowns. So it's basically he's one of the best takedown defense, not only now in this division, but of all time in the UFC, which is really insane.
I remember when he debuted, I remember Dan Ige was pretty much more known for his ground game than he was for his striking back then. And Dan couldn't take him down. And Arce won his debut against Dan back then. So the only thing that with Arce wasn't good is that he was overweight. He was 1 pound too heavy. On weight and it was crazy because he went from 135 to 145. I think, I got told what happened, but I'm not allowed to disclose.
You know what's crazy, though, is that when he stepped on for the second time, he was actually heavier.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he went for a McMuffin or something and put on half a pound or something like that. But yeah, it was bad. Getting back to the card, Dennis Bazookia gets a bonus. Happy for Dennis here, man. Gets a well-deserved bonus. A guy who's worked so hard to get in the UFC finally is here. Finally gets a first win. Yeah, he looked fucking great, right? What'd you think?
Yeah, and I got the perfect opponent for him, dude.
Oh.
Jarno Aarons.
Dude, I mean, that could be fight of the night, right?
Yeah, both are 1 and 2 in the UFC, so let's go.
Tough too. Yeah, I mean, someone's going to be 1 and 3. But by the way, is Jarno? You would know this. Did he get re-signed to a new contract or?
He has a 4-fight deal, so he still has 1 on his contract. But I don't know. I don't think
he usually try to sign them to an extension at that point.
I haven't heard anything. He would have told me. So
we'll see. Yeah, exactly. By the way, I forgot to get these comments. Vernon is out of nowhere title run. It's surprising to me, but she's definitely. I didn't think her. Here's the thing. I thought the ground would be interesting there, but I didn't think her striking was as good as it was. And she was the better striker in that fight. It was really surprising to see. Her was quite I agree with that. All right, a couple other fights here. Fight of the night. Ibo Aslan knocks out Anton Turkali, 3rd round knockout. Anton goes 0-4 in the UFC. He's one of the few guys that go 0-4, but he did win 2 fight of the night bonuses. Fights. Yeah. So it's interesting. They might give him 1 more fight. It's possible because he won 2 fight of the night bonuses in 4 fights, but he's been knocked out or stopped in 3 of those fights. So it's he's getting finished almost every fight too. Ibo, it was a back and forth fight. I actually want to see the scorecards on this one. I would assume they were 1-1 or something.
I haven't even checked it. I will check.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Let's take a look. By the way, we forgot to talk about the other fight too. The Herbert Burns and Julio Arce fight, just really quick. There was also a point deduction for a low blow.
Yeah.
Which was Gary Copeland. So he had no problem doing the low blow, but not for the eye poke in the eye fight. By the way, Sal Diamato scored the first round for Herbert Burns, so it actually was a 9-9 scorecard for him. Wow.
So Ibo Aslan, 10-9 by Adrian Castro in the first and second round for both for Aslan. Sal Diamato, 10-9, both for Aslan. And Mumuna Querido, 10-9 for Turkal and 10-9 for Aslan.
I think it could have been 1-1, but I
agree, actually.
If I have their scorecard, I might be thrilled about it. Yeah, I mean, Ibo's a fun guy. Good post-fight interview as well. I still think this guy's ceiling's very high. I think he's going to, get finished at some point by good strikers. But, I mean, he's better than Turkali. Turkali's, really not UFC caliber, I don't think, man. Give me your thoughts at all. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know with Turkali, man. I mean, he should have won this fight, to be honest, in the
yeah.
first round, I think. And after that, Ibo took also a lot of damage, man. He almost had his eye closed, but he won. He knocked him. He knocked. It wasn't a knock. Yeah, it was a knockout. His eyes rolled back in his head. But I feel the same way, man. I think Aslan is a fun guy to watch, but I think when the division or when the competition gets stronger, he will probably have a much more difficult time in the octagon. But we'll see, man. I mean, happy to see a new guy coming up. First guy from Turkey, born. I mean, there was another Turkish guy in the UFC, is Gökhan Saki, but he was born in the
Well, there's
Netherlands.
another guy in Alp Oskalic. There was that
Oh
guy.
yeah,
too.
Alptekin Oskalic, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually Turkish. Like, because I know Gökhan's Dutch, right? But they said it was the first Dutch fighter. They completely forgot about Alp. And I saw.
Yeah, and he's born in Turkey as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so they completely forgot about him. But you know, it's not like unless you like are a nerd like us who's watched it forever, you wouldn't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
That guy was a fun flyweight. He had a good fight. I want to say with John Lineker. Didn't he have a good fight with him?
He was more in the beginning of the flyweight division. He was there, right?
Yeah. Aslan looked like a moderate guy. I saw some people saying that. I mean, but I don't know. I mean, if he does, then too bad, I guess, you know. No striking defense, not at all. So do you give Antoine one more fight or you cut him?
I think based on this crazy fight, maybe I would give him one more, but to be really honest, he shouldn't, you know.
I think they're going to give him one more. I actually think they will. Because he did win 2 bonuses, right? So
what Nock says, right?
That's so funny. Oh yeah, first Cameroonian, like we forgot who Francis Ngannou. Who's that? We don't know who that is.
Or Sokuju. Never heard of him.
The was he Nigerian though, or was he Cameroon? Oh, he's from Cameroon, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh god, they forgot both of them. Oh my god. Anyways, getting back to the card, Jacob Malkoun knocks out Andre Petroski. A very weird knockout. Apparently Petroski like knocked himself out, hitting the temple on the hip of Malkoun, going for a takedown. Then Malkoun like kicked him in the body brutally, and then he started like pouring blood out of his mouth. It was brutal to watch. I don't know. Malkoun, man, I thought, you know, this fight would be a grind. It kind of turned to a striking battle. Like it actually wasn't a bad fight.
Yeah.
What do you think of Jacob Malkoun? He's had a weird career, man. He comes in there and gets knocked about 18 seconds by Hawes. You're like, okay, this guy sucks. And then he goes and beats Abdul Razak Al Hassan, big upset. Then he beats Dobson, expected to win. Then he should have beaten Brendan Allen, but he loses. He beats Mick Maximov in a fight where Maximov got hurt in like the first minute. He's destroying Cody Brunson, then gets DQ'd, and then he goes and beats Petroski in this weird knockout. Dude, this guy's had a weird career, man.
It kind of made me remember, like, do you remember Matt Litland against Valenico Vitale years ago?
What happened?
Litland went for a takedown and he ducked his head full on the canvas and he was not out against Valenico Vitale. Really weird fight. That was years ago.
Matt the Log Litland.
Yeah, and you got Emerson against Gray Maynard, where Maynard went for a takedown, and Emerson was also in pain. I think it was a no contest back then. Some really weird things sometimes happen, you know. And Malkoun, he was like, "You have a bony hip." I was like, "Dude, shut up." What the hell?
He's fucking around.
Yeah, I know. I felt bad for Petroski, man. You know, but at the same time, he can come back. We'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what do you think for Malkoun? Like, I mean,
I don't know where to place this dude, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking at the middleweight division.
Fuck, give him Andre Muniz.
Yeah, they could do that fight. I'm just looking at some other guys. That fight makes sense, actually. There's a lot of, like, middleweights right now, you know? Muniz is interesting. I think you got to match him with grapplers at this point, though, like, just to test the striking out.
If Malkoun is the ultimate troll, he got the next walkout song. He comes out with "Hips Don't Lie" from Shakira.
Oh my god, you should do it. All right, last fight on the card for the first fight, I should say. Yeah. Well, we missed a fight too. I mean, if I got canceled right with the walkout, Victoria Kudakova and Lescar, what happened? You know?
No, I reached out to her management and I was like, I hope all is well with her. And they told me like, no, it's not well with her. We don't know what's up right now. It's like, okay, I wish her all the best. He's like, yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. Haven't heard since, and I think Victoria posted yesterday a statement that she did feel bad and she took a pill or something. I don't know exactly, but Yeah, it sucks, man, and it also sucks for Gato. You know, you do a full training camp and then you can't fight. But yeah, we'll see what's next. You know, but it kind of sucked because we have a big Turkish community in the Netherlands. You know, and the fight between Turkal and Aslan, we have the last 2 hours of the prelims at Discovery Plus. That would be falling into those last 2 hours, and now it was earlier, so we are missing the first round of that fight, which fucking sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that does suck. I guess the last fight we didn't talk about, obviously, the opening preliminary card bout. I'll get this guy's name. Kalen Lochran. Is that how you say it? Am I doing it right now?
Kalen Lochran, I think, yeah.
Okay, I think we got it right. Okay, finally. I didn't know how to say his first name, but I think it's Kalen.
Kalen.
He looked great. I mean, right? He looked great, the Don. Angel Pacheco is one of these guys who's just like, he's just too tough for his own good. He kind of reminds me of Diego Sanchez a bit before he lost his chin, dude. And I know it's like, you know, he's showing off an amazing chin in his 2 fights, guys, but I have a feeling that like once he gets knocked out, he's going to get knocked out every single fight. And I think it's going to come soon because his first 2 fights in, well, not, you know, Contender Series and UFC, Marcel, he's eaten over 300 significant strikes in 2 fights. 344 in 2 fights. That's insane. That's like, you can't, bro, he's absorbing 11.5 strikes a minute. Now, again, very tough guy. All the credit for this guy for surviving. I think a lot of fighters would have, you know, quit. Not even quit, just you're just getting hurt so bad. It's just, you know, you just turtle up and lose. Like kind of like Luque, but you know what I mean? Credit to this guy, man, for really just like pushing and pushing. He did actually land some good punches too in the 3rd round.
Oh yeah, he did.
A little bit tired. I was like, okay, you never know, right? Like we've seen crazier things, but Kalen gets the win. And I thought he looked great, and I like this kid as a good prospect. He's 24, I want to say. 20, yeah. No, sorry, he's 20.
He's not that old.
26 or 27. He's a little older than I thought, actually. 27. I thought he was younger for some reason, but
Irish Vittori.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he gets Taylor Lapilus is a pretty tough debut in France. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's a hard debut. I think he's decent, man. So I don't know. Any last thoughts on this fight?
He asked for Raul Rosas.
Sure.
I mean, why not? He's like, I feel like a dick calling an 18-year-old out, but why not? I like it, no problem, you know.
Calling out this teenager, but he's in the UFC, so. Yeah. Is that fight not happening with Ricky Turcios? That's not going to happen.
I don't think so.
Do they pay Ricky?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Whole thing is so weird, man. And then they announced the fight.
And the other day, I don't know if you know Bird MMA on Instagram guy, and he posted something. About that. What was that? That Almeida Volkov one that got pulled back, and then they made the Volkov Pavlovich one. And he posted, and then some guy is like, "Yeah, if it doesn't come from the UFC or Dana himself, it's all false news." I was like, "Good dude, son. With your Turcios and Rosas coming from Dana, absolutely
fake news for sure."
Yeah. So
I hope they rebooked the fight too, by the way. Gatto and through the COVID. They should. Also, this is a good point for Glenn. A lot of the DraftKings guys, because you know you pick a team, Marcel, and then once the card starts, you can't change your team. So
yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you lose money. Like if you had her in your lineup, you're like, oh man, I just gave away money basically. And that's no one's fault. Marcel or Marcus always asks us this great question.
That's
who
pretty
stocks
easy.
up the most? Blanchfield. No, I hate to
Luque
say
as well.
it is Luque, Blanchfield. I'm just kind of looking. I mean, there's a lot of Lupe. I think Lupe another one personally.
Yeah.
And then there's other ones that like Bruno Silva too. I mean, he was a big favorite and lost. Yeah.
That fight should have been on the main card, Lupe against Verna, man. It's like they want to highlight Verna or Lupe, man. It's really weird.
Verna should get a main card fight. She's good, man. You know, and I've kind of underrated her over the years. Do you guys think UFC announces fights while telling the fighters to avoid journalists breaking news? Maybe.
I think.
Sorry.
I think they just now are like when Dana, he's meeting with the matchmakers and then they're making that fight. Yeah. And then before it gets like signed, he's already announcing it so nobody else can announce it. You know what I mean?
I'll get the questions. I just want to ask you, and I always do, like, what do you think you would rate this card out of 10, the Atlantic City? A 6?
A 6.5.
I think I'd go 6, but man, it was like a lower 6 for me. It just wasn't what the card I thought.
The 0.5 is probably because I had some nice food during the fight.
Guys. There you go. Any updates on any of these guys? Guram, Romanov, Tabura. Any updates?
0. I'm sorry, dude. Nothing.
Typology is Paris for September 28. Any truth? Any date for Manchester?
The Paris card is, I don't think it's done, but it's definitely going to happen around that time. And the Manchester card, yeah, it's either the July 20th or July 27th. I'm hearing July 20th, but I'm just waiting for the official announcement because too many question marks there, man.
Didn't Dana announce this last week with that guy?
No, he just said that it would be a pay-per-view and
okay, I didn't
probably
actually see the
Manchester.
interview, so I wasn't sure. I understand why they do it, but it's also annoying how they wait until the main card starts when a fight is on the main card is off. I agree. By the way, this card shouldn't have started so late. It was started really late, and I felt so tired after this one. You know, it just dragged on, eh?
Was there something on ESPN? Because this is big ESPN card. That's
was there basketball guys in the States?
Probably, man. It's just annoying, you know.
Was it the NCAA tournament? It might have been. Like, I don't know because I live in Canada, so for me, it's like I don't watch college basketball. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not for me.
It's like 2 weeks in a row, man. That was late.
For sure. Should UFC book Fiorot and Barber? No. I think Fiorot doesn't have to fight again.
Definitely not against Barber.
I agree. Bilal, yeah, it's going to be Bilal, Leon, and then Tom and Curtis, right?
Yeah. I think Tom will headline. Yeah.
Oh, Tom's going to headline as the intro
so.
champ.
Yeah.
Is he the bigger name, a bigger draw?
Yeah.
Even though Leon's like one of the greatest welterweights of all time.
Listen, honestly, I really think Tom is going to headline. But
actually, not that Tom isn't one of the best heavyweights. I mean, Tom's one of the best heavyweights. I would say that now. He's just so good, right? And he's a big star, you know, for them.
Is Tom not also born in Manchester, or is he from Liverpool?
He might be.
Let me check before we.
No problem. You'd know more than me. Have you been to England, Marcel, or no?
No, I haven't been in England. He's from Salford. I don't know where that is. Oh, wait, Salford, Greater Manchester. Yeah.
Oh, it is. There you go. You've been to France? You went to France, right?
Yeah, I've been in Paris in 2005 or 2006 with my school. Nice. It was an amazing time, man.
I believe you, man.
I really regret we were like at the palace from Versailles, I think, you know, and you have the gardens and you have the inside of the palace, and it was a very hot day that day, and we had to do like some tasks, you know, and you had one task was in the garden and one task was in the palace, and we did the garden, but we were fucking tired, dude. So everybody who was in the palace, they got our task and vice versa, and we just wrote it from each other, you know. And when I look back at it, that's like, motherfucker, you were there, you know, and you didn't went into the palace. You're a fucking dumb fuck, you know what I mean? So, but the Louvre, man, I tell you right now, if you have a 13 or 14-year-old, if your daughter is older and you go to Paris,
I'd like to go.
Yeah, but don't go to the Louvre with her. It's fucking boring.
I believe you, but I read that book, Da Vinci Code, all those years ago, and I would have to see it, right? I'd like to go. I'd like to go with her one day.
It's such a small painting, dude.
I believe you. I had her today. Marcel saw her on the stream before we started. She didn't want to leave. She wanted to be on the stream, but UFC. I'm just gonna take a few more questions, guys. We got to start the preview in a second here. They do it all the time. Matchmaker, Manchester card. I think the 2 title fights, Pato, I have to think about the other ones, but any English fighters can be in the card.
Paddy will be on it. Michael Herbert will be on it. Arnold Allen.
Wood. Yeah. Any of those guys. Yeah, no, I agree. It's March Madness, I thought. UFC Manchester, when you get for 100K followers. Marcel's close. He's very close. You're like 92 or something, almost, or something like that. 91
91, 92, but kind of stagnated at a certain moment.
Well, at some point it does. I mean, I'm stuck at like 12, and it's been like that for a few years now. I don't have as much to provide as you do with all your fight announcements, man.
I told you last week, man, when at a certain moment, I think in 24 hours, I got like 200, 300 plus followers. It's like, what the hell? And then I hear that MMA guru pretty much shout me out. So
that's cool.
That's what's nice.
Good for you, man. Volkov Pavlich isn't official according to them. Yeah, I saw that. They did see that. Buckley, I think, did sign with the UFC, right?
I've seen it, but I don't know if it's 100% legit.
I heard he had a 1-fight deal with PFL, so I think it makes sense if. We won't see a rematch, which kind of sucks. But you make 100K. By the way, Dana's probably gonna be like, "Yeah, didn't you see he beat Doumbé in PFL? Like, we don't want Doumbé. We don't want him." Doumbé. I keep saying his fucking name wrong. God, he's such a good fighter too. Cedric Doumbé. I think that's how you say it. All right, let's end this podcast. We're going to start the preview, guys. So appreciate everyone joining us. Went a little bit over the hour here, but no big deal. We'll jump in the preview podcast in just a minute here. Anything else you really want to wrap up with here, Marcel, before we start the next show?
I'll just watch the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, I'm going to start it up. Give me a minute, and I'll tweet it out.